Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. We already have some fun happening in the chat. So welcome, guys. Tia, Joy, LDJ is here, Amelia, all the friends. Hi. Welcome. We're going to be doing some more sprints tonight, and we have 3 wonderful guests, including Emily, which we have never had on before. So hello, Emily. Do you guys want to go around and introduce yourself and what you're going to be working on today?
Yes, I think Emily should start.
Okay. In the hot seat. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
My name is Emily. I'm an aspiring fantasy author making videos here on YouTube. I started posting to my channel in November, and it's kind of grown from there. It's been so fun connecting with other author-tubers. But tonight I am working on a scene from Queen character in my story. So I don't spend a lot of time in her head, but I'm excited to write this scene of her sort of advocating for herself. So, but yeah.
Love it.
That's fun. Well, hey guys. My name's Amina, and the first stream or the first sprint, I'm gonna go get some dinner real quick. Then the second stream, or the sprint, I don't know why I keep saying this. The second sprint, I'm gonna work on a scene where we have, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a speech situation kind of going on, but then there's gonna be like riots and stuff, so that's gonna be really fun. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing.
That is so fun.
I love it.
I also, Amina, I always confuse like stream with sprint. Like I always switch them up when I'm talking.
Yeah.
So relatable. I'm Ari. I am working on an eco fantasy novel titled Pretend the Earth Doesn't Call. And yeah, that's what I'll be working on today. And I'm super excited to be here. What a great crew.
Period.
Love it. And I'm Brielle. And I'm going to be working on chapter 3. I'm currently still reworking the beginning of the book, which I don't know how much has actually been said in videos yet, but yeah, I'm revisiting the first couple chapters of the book. So yeah, I'm going to be working on reworking chapter 3, and it's like a fun little public torture situation, sort of.
Cozy. Love it.
But we love it. It's great.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's,
you went back, like you haven't finished yet, right? You like decided to go back, edit the first chapters before finishing it?
Correct. So I still have a few chapters left in draft 2 at the end of the book, but I'm fixing some stuff at the beginning first, so that when I get to the end of the book, the draft will be actually done is the plan.
That's awesome.
That's so exciting.
We love a good
Super
torture.
fun. Yeah, we love it. We
do.
love it. I do feel like the book is improving leaps and bounds, which is exciting. We love that.
That's a great feeling because it doesn't always feel like that.
That's so true. That is
Yeah.
so true.
Heavy on that.
Emily, you said you were drafting, right? Or am I?
Yeah, I'm in my draft, and I'm in a bit of a slump right now. So I'm hoping that being here will get all the good creative juices flowing, and will hopefully pull myself out of it. But yeah, for now, slump city population, me.
So fair.
You're not alone. You are not alone. I don't think I've written in like a week. No, that's a lie.
Okay,
I haven't written in like 2 days, but I haven't written like actually written in a week.
I feel that.
Well, that's why we're here tonight. Am I right?
Oh yeah.
Amazing. Okay, cool. Should we do like one question before we jump in?
Oh, absolutely.
Warm up a little?
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
Amazing. Well, if anyone wants to drop a question in the chat, that would be really fun. Also, all the comments about the casual torture. Torture is not the right word. I just could not find. She said, yeah, fully endorse. Hi, Ian. Welcome. And Miley's here as well. Love it. Yes. Very cool to see new faces in the chat. Quite a few people who I don't think I've seen here before. So hi. Love it. Amazing. I feel like this is a great place to start. How's everyone's week going? Oh no, that doesn't seem overly promising.
Okay, I can start. Not to put anybody on the spot. Okay, this week, interesting week. You know, the world's in an interesting place. I think work has been like really crazy, so that's been a little tricky, but I am getting my wisdom teeth out tomorrow, which I am kind of nervous about, but I'm also like just so excited to like sit on a couch and like rot for a little while. Like I am so pumped to just do nothing. But yeah, turbulent. That's how I would classify this week.
Ari,
Word.
you need more rest in your life. Like you have to get surgery
Yeah.
to sit on a couch.
So true.
Oh no, girl.
You're not wrong.
She needs
I had the
rest.
same thought.
Oh,
Yeah. But it's gonna be lots of ice cream, lots of like I'm gonna regress into like my baby form and just eat like soft liquid foods, you know. So that'll be
As you
interesting.
should.
Yeah.
Love. Amina, thoughts?
oh. I was thinking about the wisdom tooth thing because it is actually really wild because I was drugged up when I got mine out and my sister recorded it and it was really funny. But anyways, how's my week going? I had to think about what day it was. So if that is any indication. But you know what? Overall, not too bad. It could always be worse. And I'm excited to write and for the rest of the week. So optimistic.
Love that.
I love that.
I love that.
Thank you.
Emily?
I'm trying to think of like a good word now. You guys both were like, this is the theme of my week. Well, this is my, heard it here first, an exclusive. This is the last week of my current corporate job. I started a new job on Monday, which is super exciting, but also super overwhelming because I've got like full projects on the go. So I'm basically just trying to put everything to bed so that it's not a mess for everyone else when I leave. So that's been, maybe my word is chaotic because it's just like tons of little things, but on the whole, mostly pretty good. I've been trying some like new recipes and trying to get my life together as one does. So yeah, I would say like chaotic, but you'll call it chaotic good, I guess. Yes. Chaotic good, final answer.
I love that. I love that. My week has actually been pretty good. I feel like I had a really rough week last week. So just feeling like purging that energy and like feeling creative and like excited to work on things again is like a big win. So trying to appreciate that while that feeling is here for sure. Yeah.
We love that.
Cute. Cute question. I always appreciate when like there's a question of just like a personal check-in type question because it's like, oh, that's kind of nice.
I
agree.
Love it. Thank you for asking, Amelia. And I feel like we're ready. We're ready to jump in. So do we want to do 25 or 30 or what do we feel?
I don't feel a difference, to be honest, with 25, 30. So
yeah,
completely up to you, girl.
Okay. Let's full send with 30.
30 in the chat, I think. Yeah. Amazing.
Okay.
I like a nice 30.
I'll pull up the timer then and we will get started. And then we'll do a proper question session after that. So feel free to drop them in advance so I can like star them and prep for that prior to the sprint ending. Okay. Good luck, everybody.
Good luck.
Also, I'm realizing I didn't present yet, so it's a little awkward that I already said good luck. 1 second.
Oh.
I didn't even register that.
I thought you were going to say we're gonna like live for some reason. So my brain was like disconnecting, and I was like,
bro.
Anyways,
it's fine, guys.
I'm gonna eat dinner.
Yeah, I think I need some food too. Some fuel always helps the brain. Okay. Good luck.
That went by quick.
It did. How was everyone's?
It really did.
Thoughts?
Sorry. It was good. I got 350 words. So better than 0,
Nice.
which is what I've been doing all week. So a win is a win.
A win is a win.
Love it.
I ate, so it was good.
What did you
What
get?
did you have for dinner?
I had barbecue chicken, and girl, when I tell you I tore that up, and then I was like,
Delicious.
and I want a cookie. I'm being so unhealthy, but it's okay because I'm gonna restore tomorrow and be healthy. But girl, it was good. So yeah,
That sounds really
Love
good.
it.
it's nice.
That's so good.
Ugh, it's so yum. I got like 430 words, which pretty solid. My dog was bothering me the whole time, so I was like writing dog.
Multitasking.
Love
Mhm.
that. I did not get a ton done. I feel like I was stuck when I last wrote, and so I was picking up at a point where I was stuck. So I was just trying to like reorient myself, I feel like. And I'm deciding to leave some brackets and try to skip into later in the chapter because I don't exactly know what needs to be here, but that's okay.
That's so real.
Hard to me, like when I have to like leave something blank. I always like get annoyed with myself because I'm like, what is the answer? But honestly, sometimes that's for the best.
Yeah, sometimes it just needs time. It just
Yeah.
needs to sit, you know?
For sure.
I think it does. And then like sometimes you come back to it to reread it, and it's like, especially if you like let it sit for a little while, and you're like, even what you have down there, it like informs what you then want it to be. So it's
Yeah.
like always helpful to like put something down, not put something down. Like
Absolutely.
it'll shape
agree.
itself.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes on a reread is when I really am like, well, duh, like this is what needs to happen here. Like this is what you're missing. So at least as long as we're getting the bones on, and since like this is a new scene, I'm like, it can be a rough draft of the scene, even though this is draft 2, because this is new material. So I'm trying to like be okay with brackets, even though it's draft 2.
Yeah.
But yeah. I hope everyone else had a productive sprint. Feel free to drop your progress. And welcome to everyone who joined during that sprint. We do have a few questions that people dropped.
There's a lot of people here.
I know. I'm like, whoa.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't really ever look at the amount, but when I looked just now, I was like, oh shoot, that's crazy. So hey, friends.
Hey, friends. Hi, Ian. Hi, Olivia. Got stuck on reading through chapter 9. Supposed to be finishing chapter 29. You know, that is so real. Oh, this is interesting. I always go back 10 sentences if I'm stuck. I feel like for me, the problem is almost always in the lead up.
That's good
That's
advice.
a great point.
That is really smart. Yeah, I feel like
totally.
whenever I really get stuck, it's usually because I've made a wrong choice with something and I need to like go back and fix the origin of the issue. So that's such good advice. Love it. Love it. Okay. Shall we jump into some of these cues? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
I thought this was interesting. What's the most creatively experimental risk you've taken with your whip? Creatively experimental.
That's a great
risk.
question. I don't know.
Okay, I'll try to start out.
Yes, please.
Well, firstly, I'll say I don't feel like I did anything overly crazy experimental with this. And I think because it was my first book that I was trying to really finish, that was like a purposeful choice. I was like, let me do a structure that's a little familiar. Like, I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel on a first book, which I'm glad. I'm glad that I did that. The only thing I kind of tried to like switch up was how I started the book. Like, I tried to start it more immediately in the action. But low key, now I'm changing that and having to add a bunch to the beginning. So my slight variation from the classic structure actually bit me in the butt, and now I'm having to fix it. So I don't have a successful deviation or like risk to report that I can think of. But
That's so funny because I feel like the classic advice is to like start later than you think, which I think is like super valuable. And I actually think it's probably easier to like rewind a couple scenes and start a little bit earlier than it is to like cut like however many chapters in the very beginning. But yeah, that's really interesting.
yeah, I feel like maybe I took that advice too much to heart, and I was like, let's just go, like
Yeah.
full send.
Love it though. I think for me, so my book right now is a fantasy novel, but I think my narrative voice is actually like quite a snarky modern gal.
Ooh.
And I feel like sometimes those things, like I think there can be a little bit of dissonance if you're in kind of like a fantasy realm and then you kind of have like this more modern voice. So I think, but that's like something that I love and I think is actually like a strength for me is like kind of like voicey interiority. So I think I'm really trying to figure out how to balance like a modern narrative voice with like fantasy. I don't know.
I love that.
Have you written a fantasy before?
Yeah.
And what kind of voice was that before?
I don't think I had like figured out my voice yet, if I'm being completely honest. Like I think it was like super generic narrative voice. And I think this is kind of the first one where it's like, oh, like I'm figuring out, I think I've learned a lot over the past year about like what I like in a narrative voice, like what I like in interiority. And I feel like I'm really implementing that style in this book, but I think it's a little bit of a balancing act.
Do you think like you went into this one like with that intention, or did it just kind of write it like become like that? If
I
that
think
makes
it became like that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
with this question, I'm thinking, I'm like, at least for me, and I don't know if you guys can relate, like I didn't think of like risk at all. I was just kind of like, let's just see. And I don't even know technically what's considered risky or not. And I feel like a lot of times with writing, it kind of just falls into place and kind of just does what it does. I feel like I rarely, not that I'm not intentional, but a lot of times, even if I have intentions, it'll like swerve left. So yeah, but if I was to answer this question,
Oh,
Oh.
I was just gonna say, Amina, with what I know about your whip, I have an answer for you.
Okay.
I
Well,
feel
okay.
like something that you're doing that's like different or like I guess a little risky is you're writing a contemporary romance, but you're really focusing also on other aspects of the plot. So it's going to be like a chunkier book with a lot of like political aspects and like focus on the main character's growth outside of the relationship, which
Yeah.
those are my favorite contemporary romances to read, but that's definitely like not the most common, you know?
And I think it's because I didn't even want to write a contemporary romance. I just feel like maybe that's what fit like the genre or whatever. Like the kind of story just kind of came to me and I was like, I guess it fits, but I would agree with you. And also maybe like the world building aspect, because I feel like I'm doing a lot that I haven't read yet. It's almost like the amount of world building in a fantasy novel that I'm doing, but in a contemporary romance. So yeah, I don't know. Emily?
It's great because I had a second to think about it. Brielle, you said you basically were not trying to reinvent the wheel with your first book. I feel like I invented a new, worse kind of wheel, and I'm now backpedaling, trying to figure out how to actually turn it into something good. Because I have like multiple lines happening in my story, multiple POVs. So that's been kind of a balancing act to like keep everything straight. So I don't know if like a experimental creative risk, but it is something I did that I am now trying to undo and work with. So yeah, I don't know if that counts as experimental, but that is my answer.
Love it. Love it. Amazing. Okay, I have a few other cues that I've starred. Let's jump to this because actually this came up for me recently. To prologue or not to prologue, and why?
This is polarizing.
Uh-huh. I would
is.
argue most of the time not to prologue, though I did have someone suggest to me maybe I needed a prologue, which was very interesting. What do you guys
Oh,
think?
interesting. I want to hear more about that. Okay, I agree with you. I think I'm definitely more like, don't prologue. I think as a genre, like fantasy is basically starting to grow out of it. But I wrote a prologue for this book. Like, granted, it is 400 words, like it is not long at all. But I think so long as like you're intentional about it and there's a very solid reason as to like why you're writing the prologue, like I think it's fine. Like, don't write a prologue just for the sake of having a prologue. But if there's like a very solid reason that like sets a tone for a book that you can't do with like your first chapter, go for it.
Yeah. I feel like if it's short and sweet and it's one of those like intrigues, like I don't know, intrigue building, like quick and easy things. But then I would also argue, are you trying to do so much lifting in your prologue because your opening chapters don't have enough going on to grip the reader on their own? Might be something to think about. I don't know.
Solid point.
It's so funny because this was never even a consideration with mine. It was just like, no, we're just going to go right for it. But now I'm thinking like, I don't think I need a prologue, but just trying to think, what would it look like if I did? You guys bring up interesting points and something that I just never really thought about. Like, I was just like, oh, let's just dive right in. So no prologue for me, but yeah, I agree with you. Like, if I feel like it adds more to the story, or it gives at least like the readers maybe a little bit more context that you're not going to get. And it might, not that you can't, that will bore the readers, or maybe more so that confuse the readers, or might not have as much of an impact if you do have it. And I feel like I've read more fantasies with those. And I feel like it has more of a greater impact than like a contemporary romance or something.
I agree. I feel like genre makes such a huge difference. I am team pro very short prologues. But what I like even more than a prologue is like an epigraph that sets the tone for what the story is going to be about. So I find like it often does what I think we sometimes hope our prologue is going to do, where it does sort of in the right headspace to be able to jump into that first chapter. So love that. Hate picking it up for myself. Very bad at that. Love watching other people do it masterfully, because that is not my experience. But yeah, I feel like if your prologue is longer than like 4 or 5 pages, maybe just consider like starting your book in that place and weaving that into the first chapter, because it can get bogged down. Because yeah, you want to grip the story. So yeah, I guess I'm like pro prologues for fantasy, but I am kind of anti them for most other genres, and even then, like anything else that's polarizing. If you do it so well that nobody can complain, power to you.
Agree. Also, there's a good point in the chat that like some people, a fair amount of people say they skip prologues. So I would argue if something is that optional in your book, does it really need to be there? Like, if you're designing it knowing that people can and might and would be okay to skip it, I don't know. But yeah, I agree. It's nuanced and it depends on your story. And if you have something that's like really that like.
Oh no.
Brielle, I think you're muted.
Yeah, we lost you. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
There
bad.
we go.
I'm sorry, my mic keeps unplugging for reasons I don't understand. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Anyway.
Can I add something? Because I just had a thought of, I did actually read a prologue in a contemporary romance once, and I do actually think it was effective, but I think it's because there was like a mystery aspect to it. And then when we get to it at the end, it was like kind of referred back a little bit to the prologue, if that makes sense. So yes, I definitely do agree. Like, it's more genre based, but you know, every work is very different. That's the funny thing about these streams and questions. It's like we could say something, but there's always an exception, you know? So I just think it's always a fun discussion.
That's a great point, Amina. Yeah.
Thank you. Anytime Ari compliments me, I'm like, oh my God, I did good.
Always doing good. Are you kidding? I actually think Book Lovers by Emily Henry also had a prologue. And then there's like a time jump, but that prologue is amazing.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's
That's one of my
incredible.
favorite
It's so
books.
good
I
that you
love
don't
that book.
realize that it's a prologue. You just think it's chapter one. So like I definitely think like it can be done across genres. It's just like make sure it's doing what it needs to do for your story. Yeah.
I feel like it's so too much pressure. Like I think I would be stressed that I could not write something like so important that it needs to be there.
But I feel like that's like
Great question.
chapter one struggles, right? Just like generally, it's like the first pages, you know, you want to grip your reader, and that's just like a lot of pressure generally. But it's like making the active, like controversial decision to like write a prologue just like ups that a little bit more.
Right, right. Also, to be clear, if there's anyone in the chat who has a prologue that they really love, do not let us make you spiral about that. Keep going, bestie. You're killing it.
Yeah.
And your beta readers will let you know if they think it's unnecessary, but Godspeed. Godspeed. Also, this is true. Books, there aren't no rules. Yes.
True. Yeah.
Always important to remind ourselves of, because sometimes it can start to feel like there's a lot of restrictions or like things you have to stick to, you know? Amazing. Okay. I see there's some additional questions that I'll have to skim, but there were a few more that I had saved. I thought this was sweet. If you could hold the hand of little you and tell her all the things you've done that would make her proud, what would you tell her?
Oh my
That's so
God.
sweet. Oh my God.
I will cry.
I know.
I
me
will
too.
cry.
I can't answer this fully, but that is such a cute question. Oh my gosh. Who wants to start? Because it's not going to be me.
I can
Like
try.
I
can
Oh,
try.
you can go ahead, Ari. Go ahead, Ari.
Oh no, you can go, Emily, if you want. I have a dog literally attacking me.
I was gonna say, so cute. Okay, so I feel like for little me, I'm picturing like 9-10-year-old me who like started writing. My first book that I ever wrote was really bad Catch That Kid fan fiction, which is so niche. So if you understand the chokehold that book had on me, you would get it. But I feel like she just wanted to write something that other people wanted to read. And then, you know, university and starting working in corporate, I've worked in corporate for like 5 years. The desire to create fell off a cliff pretty much until like last year. So I think if I could, hold the hand of little me, I would tell her that like our dream of being a writer did not die when we became an adult. We found a way to combine both like our love of working with people, because I work a lot with people in my role, with also writing for myself and filling my own cup after like not being able to do it for a while. And that it's like too late to restart things. So that's probably what I'd tell her. And she'd probably roll her eyes and be like, why are we not published? We're going to be 11 soon. We're getting up there. We need to be a wonder kid or something. So
Time's ticking.
we'll see. Exactly.
Oh,
That was so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
It's really sweet.
Yeah. I think honestly kind of similar. Like I think when I was like younger, like I was like such a like, no, like I want it this way. And like I knew what I wanted and I was like very strongly spoken about it. And then I think like as I got older, like I feel like I kind of lost that, and like I'm a huge people pleaser, and so like I kind of lost that like vein of like, okay, like what is it that you want, what is it that like makes you happy? And it's so funny because I got really into like reading fantasy books when I was like 11, 12, and like that was not cool like at all, like in middle school. And I was like drawing dragons in the margins of my notebooks, and I feel like I really kind of abandoned that little girl that like loved this thing that was not cool. And I feel like as I've gotten older, I've just like really leaned into just like being unashamedly interested in the things that like bring me joy, like even if there might be like outside judgment. like, it doesn't matter. Like, if it brings you joy, like, it brings you joy. And I feel like that is something that I wish little me knew. And I feel like that's something that like older me is cultivating, like, as I've gotten older, which I'm not going to cry, but yeah, which I really appreciate.
I resonate
Beautiful.
with that. Honestly. Like, everything that you said word by word, and I was even thinking about that recently because the other day I changed my lock screen to something that seems childish. It's like little bunnies, like, and they're all like forming like a little village and stuff. And at first I saw it and I remember, like, if I were to look at it like 5 years ago or something, 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh, I'm too grown for that. That's for little kids. And I'm like, I enjoy the things that I enjoy, and like not everything needs to be so like adulty, you know what I mean? And just enjoy what you like. And if no one likes it, forget them. Oh, that was so
And if there's value, like, there's such value in things that bring you joy, you know?
Yeah,
Like, go with it.
exactly.
It makes life worth living. There's enough like bad stuff in the world without like trying to shrink yourself into hobbies that you don't feel called to. So I totally resonate with that too.
Aww. I mean, I echo everything that everyone has shared in terms of like fulfilling, you know, what your younger self wanted to be doing. I also feel like I have, in like the last year, maybe 2 years, have started feeling more in touch with that younger version of myself again, which is so special and important. Like, I also have like all these just like cutesy, encouraging doodles and stuff on my vision board that I'm like looking at right now. Just like wholesome little illustrations, like to-do list, be cute, look at the sky. Like, these are the energy that I'm trying to take into this year. So yeah, I feel like it's so nice when the adult version of you can have the like awareness and like the emotional intelligence and all of those things to like reintegrate that younger version of you into your current life and what you do with your current life. Like, that's so empowering. But yeah, I totally resonate with like, you know, I do feel like I'm pursuing the dreams that the younger version of me didn't, but also I think the fact that I'm doing that and have friends while doing that and that actually support me doing that would really blow the mind of younger me, because I feel like growing up, to me, it always seemed like a choice. Like, it's either you do the things that you love, like the nerdy, fun hobbies, and you feel creatively fulfilled, or you have friends. Like, and I feel like
Yeah.
for a period of time, felt like I had to give up so much of myself to like be socially accepted finally. And now to feel like I can experience both like genuine friendships and being myself more so than I have in years, I feel like that's pretty special. So yeah.
Yeah. And I really like, that's such a good point. Cause like, there's so much to the community aspect of it too, of like, it's not just that you're interested in it, it's that you feel seen, and there's like camaraderie in that too, of like, I think it's so cool to have a community of people that have the same interests and hobbies as you. Cause like, just like in a surrounding circle of like people physically near you, like that's so much harder to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It reminds me of a lot of you know, that trend going on where it's like I took my younger version to coffee or
Yes.
something like that. Like, that's what it reminds me of. And I love it when I see people talk about what they would talk about with their younger self and stuff like that. So I feel like I've been thinking about this question for a minute, but haven't come to like a solid answer, because I feel like there's so many aspects of my life that I can talk about. And probably each one could make me cry. But like, honestly, I agree with everything that you guys said. Heavy on the friendship part too, of like being yourself, but then also like having friends while you're being yourself. And I would also say like maybe one thing that I would tell her that like I'm proud that she did is like stop being scared to do things that I love because I'm afraid of what people would think, or like be afraid of being seen trying to do stuff. Because even the fact that I made a YouTube channel has always been scary to me, and I delayed it for so long because I was scared of what other people think. And just the fact that I like am doing that now, and I'm like, the last thing on my mind is what people think. If anything, I'm excited to share like my thoughts and stuff with other people. I would say that that's something that I'm really proud that I did. And I think in order for me to have come to this place is because, you know, when I was younger, and I feel like all of us, like when we're younger, you're not thinking about other people. You're just loving what you love. There's no pressure or like peer pressure or anything. Things are cool. Or I mean, maybe for like, maybe like boys and girls, they'll be like doing like stupid arguments or whatever. But for the most part, everybody loves to do what they want to do. But then when I became a teenager, it's like you gotta suppress it. And I feel like in that time I lost myself. And that's why I love how now I'm doing all these like childhood like things like coloring and like playing games or having cute lock screens and stuff like that. And it's stuff that I like and it never changed. But I just feel like as I grew up, I felt like I had to like put that away to seem older. Like I'm 15, I don't need to do those stuff, or you know what I mean? But there's no age to having fun, you know? So I'm just glad that I got to the other side. And now like I'm more confident in myself and I don't care. Sorry, I feel like this was a long answer, but yeah.
No,
That's
love
a
it.
great answer. I love it. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I'm so bad at it.
Go
No,
for
you're
it.
good, Emily. Go.
I was just gonna
Go
say, the like being afraid to be seen trying, put it on my tombstone. Like, yeah, it's so
very
hard.
real.
I feel like to separate your self-perception from the way that you're being perceived in the world and make peace that like those things can be different and it's okay as long as you feel like you're aligned with the version of yourself. I'm not even gonna say like the best version of yourself, but the version of yourself you like the most. It doesn't really matter what other people think. And it's easier, I think, as we get older to let go of some of those like concerns and worries. And I mean, to a certain extent, everybody wants to be liked on some level by people. Like it's a universal experience, I think. But I think you put a lot less stock in other people's opinions when you feel good about what you're doing and like aligned with the highest version of yourself for you.
I love that. And I do think that there's something to like, I do think when you get older, you have more discernment about whose opinions you value. And I feel like when I was a teenager, I thought everyone else's opinion about me was 100% fact. I'm also a born and bred people pleaser. So I would just assume like, oh, if my mom's friend doesn't get what I'm trying to do, like with something creative, that must mean that it's pointless or whatever. Like I would take that so to heart. And I think now as an adult, I can recognize like if someone doesn't have a life that I would want, or maybe they seem really unhappy themselves, why am I necessarily going to assume that they know what I should be doing? Like,
Yeah.
just because someone is an adult or a peer or whatever doesn't mean that they are an authority on what you should want to do or pursue or what's cool or whatever, right? So, yeah. I also just wanted to pull up this comment from Olivia because I'm sure we can all like empathize and see like us a few years ago in this comment, because she said it's so hard being in school and not feeling like you can tell your friends about your passions and interests like writing. Because low-key, I do think school is such a pressure cooker where you're so focused on peer dynamics that it's a lot harder to be yourself, I think, in a school environment.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to send you some love.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it's also like, I think it's been touched on like the kind of like the shame and the judgment that can come along with it. And I think it like I think that stuff can be like really tuned up as you're like trying to find your place in the world. And then like as you get older, you like start to like find your footing a little bit more. And I think it's like really finding that like at the end of the day, like the only judgment that actually matters is like how you feel about yourself and like what you're doing. And like tune everybody else out. Like yeah, absolutely be discerning with the people that you take feedback and input from, but also like your relationship with yourself and like how you feel about yourself and how you're judging yourself, like that I think is like the foundation for like all of this stuff.
So true. And you know more than you think you do. Like the intuition is
Yeah.
strong. I feel like I'm just finally learning how to actually listen to those gut feelings, because they can really show you like what is and is not for you. Like, yeah. Also, okay, plug. There's a good podcast on Rails Patreon about this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, that's really sweet. I love that. Also, great point, Amelia. Always remind yourself that you're going to die and all that matters is enjoying every moment. You know, sometimes
Really?
you need that. Sometimes you
It takes
need
the
that.
pressure off, you know?
Just
It
remember you're gonna
does.
die. Period. Also, the
Nothing
fact
It is like we're all on
matters,
a
you know?
floating rock one. It's like nothing matters. We're on a floating rock in space. Like it's not that
it's
serious.
funny.
Nothing is that serious.
for like people pleasers, sometimes it's like you don't even like everybody. So like, why are you trying to
Yeah.
like get like other people to like you back? You know?
Mhm.
So facts.
You can say that
So-
again, Amina. So true.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yep. Yep. Lots of great quotes and snippets being shared in the chat. Everyone love it. Love it. Love it. Also, Emily, are you going indie or trad? Because there's a question specifically about indie publishing, but I don't know if there's any other indie girlies in here.
I'm hoping to go trad.
Okay.
So
Okay. I don't know enough
solo
about
indie girly Brielle.
I don't know enough about this Amazon situation to talk about it to you. I would need to ask someone else because this is news to me.
I can
Oh, yeah, I
briefly
didn't know that.
explain if you would like.
Oh, amazing. All
The
right.
tea. So basically, Amazon is changing their features where like it used to be you bought something on Kindle and you essentially like owned that and you can download a PDF, you can save it on your computer. They are removing the option for you to do that in like a week. So you basically don't own any of the books that are on your Kindle. It's basically like you're now renting books from Amazon instead of like actually owning them. And it's a huge, big thing on the internet about like ownership versus renting. And yeah, that's also like, you can do research on that, but that's basically just like the baseline of what's happening. You won't be able to like actually own your books.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they can also
Ooh,
like go in
Amazon.
and like change the book too. So like I don't know if you've ever gone in before to like a book that you bought, but they can like change the cover art to like the original cover art to like now on Amazon Prime, this is like the TV show cover of a book. And they can like go in and change content if like they're changing typos or content, like they can go in and like change the book so you don't have the original version.
Interesting.
Don't love
that's
that.
just the little bit that I've read about it. I don't know if I'm missing any details.
Interesting.
Let me know in the chat if I'm missing any details.
Well, okay, yeah, this is very interesting conversation. I watched a video on this afternoon and downloaded my books. Yeah, I got to get those downloads in before they changed that. Indie authors highly suggest plugging your website and selling your books there. Yeah, as someone going indie, I will say I will probably stay, like, at least for now, stay with Amazon, unfortunately, because it is like such a big chunk of sales for so many indie authors
Yeah.
that I've seen personally. And I still think it's more strategic for me than going wide with the information that I have at this moment, always subject to change. But it kind of sucks that so many indie authors are so Amazon dependent because I don't think a lot of us like Amazon as a company, right? So it's a bit of a tricky place to be in.
But it's also a monopoly, you know, like it's like
Mhm.
a bit of a monopoly. So like as an indie author, like you really don't have that many options, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. But I do think the point about like selling on your own website is great. And I love seeing indie authors doing that, like signed copies through their websites and things like that. So it feels a little more ownable. But yeah, that's tough. I do think though, like the reach that you can get, especially with Kindle Unlimited, like the opportunity to introduce people to your book who might not otherwise read it is still a huge pro. But yeah. Yeah, they purposely taken a chokehold on the market, so no
Exactly.
if you use them in any capacity. Yeah.
But I think with this push, and I think also like 2 years ago, whenever Brandon Sanderson did that crazy Kickstarter and like decided not to do a deal with Audible. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but he was basically like, I'm not doing an Audible deal because I think they have monopolized the like audiobook market and they don't give like, I think if you're an Audible, like indie author, you only get like 25% of earnings with Audible or something. So he was trying to like say like, this is not okay. So like, I think that there's like rumblings of like things changing. And I think we're going to wind up seeing like, you know, other marketplaces, other things happening. Cause I think there's kind of like a growing, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's things moving.
One thing that I do appreciate, that I've seen at least in the online rhetoric around like book selling platforms is I have not seen people like going against each other. Like, why would you put your book in this platform? Why would you not do this? Like, I appreciate that in general, like writers are more so putting criticism towards the platforms themselves and their choices rather than like what young artists are trying to do to survive, you know? So we love that. Got to keep the conversation geared that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like 100%, like the power dynamics, like, of course.
Yes.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
Love it. Okay. High School Musical quote.
Yeah. A classic, modern classic. Actually, is that even modern anymore? I'm aging myself.
I asked my cousin, he's like 17 or 18. Anyways, he doesn't know what that is. I was like, oh, dang.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
he doesn't know what it is. I'm like, there are 18-year-olds who can vote. Oh yeah, he's 18 because I think he voted. Anyways, yeah, he doesn't know what High School Musical is. I'm like, oh, dang.
That's crazy.
Sounds like he gets to watch it for the first time. So love that for him.
How can you vote with
wild.
what High School Musical is? That's concerning.
Facts.
Movie night.
We
Right?
were buying the DVD with my allowance when I was like, actually, I'm not going to say how old it was. Never mind. But I remember buying it with my allowance and being so excited.
I remember having the DVD for High School Musical 2, which is the best one, Don't Fight Me. And we had like the CD player so we could like jam out to music and stuff. Because they had CD players back then.
Love it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love that.
Okay, I feel like we should close off on a light and fluffy question. We love a light and fluffy question. Do you have a favorite place to write that helps you get inspiration for writing? For me, it's either the library, cafe, or a park. Thoughts?
I like my bed and the floor and a couch. Like a lot of times I can't really focus too much in public. I will still go to public because I like the vibes, but I love a good floor and a bed. Yeah.
Floor is underrated.
Right?
Floor is underrated. I agree.
Bring back the floors.
Yeah.
Bring back the floors. I would say this fluctuates a lot for me. Like I go through phases with different fixations for writing locations. Like I've gone through at the start, I was really a cafe writing girl, like almost never wrote at home. Then I was really vibing with park writing sessions. Now I feel like I'm writing in my apartment 90% of the time, girl. Kind of for the reasons Amina said, like it's nice to not necessarily feel watched or just like to fully lock in with no concern for anyone or anything else. So yeah, I feel like I'm in a phase of writing at home, but sometimes a cafe can be nice just to like romanticize the experience and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
Pretty much second.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead,
Emily.
No,
I'm the same way. I find it really challenging to like hit a flow if there's like other people around me, and it can be really distracting because I'm so easily distractible. So I really like sitting on my couch with like a blanket. That's like my favorite. That or honestly not even my desk because like I work at my desk, so it's like too much of a workspace. So I'm gonna go couch.
It's a good point about separation of space because I could not write at my desk until I'd been out of my job for like 3 months. And then I was like, okay, now I no longer associate it with work. But it took literally months because for a long time I was like, nope, that's a workspace, you know?
Yes.
story of my life. I'm currently a work from home girly, gonna be a hybrid girly, and I'm very much looking forward to reclaiming my desk as my writing space. But I have different keyboards, which is like a weird thing. I do a lot of my writing at my desk as well, mostly because I write at ungodly hours, which is interesting with the 9 to 5 schedule. We're hanging in there. But yeah, I write at my desk at night most of the time, so I switch out my keyboards. So I have just like a regular work keyboard. It's less exciting. It's blue, which is cool, but it's like super fun. And then I have like a mechanical keyboard that I reserve only for my writing practice. So it's kind of like separation, church and state, all that. But when I'm writing outside of the house, I really like the public library because I feel like the windows that I can actually go while it's open are so short that I kind of have to lock in. Like I can't stay there till all hours of the night the way that I can at home and like procrastinate by cleaning my room or hiding my apartment or doing dishes or something. I feel like I actually have to be dialed. So I really like the public library for that reason. And I live in a city where there's so many different branches. So I can always kind of switch it up and do that fun, like, oh, it's a new space, but there's also no, there's no like impetus to buy anything, which I really like. We need more free third spaces, in my opinion. But I will say at my on the floor in my living room or library, final answer.
Agree on free third spaces. Bring back more free third spaces. Yeah, especially I do think for work from home girlies, like there is a stir crazy aspect, and it kind of sucks when you're like, well, my alternative would have to involve potentially spending money, and I can't necessarily go to a cafe like every single day, you know? So,
Yeah,
I love the
The
library.
star craziness is real.
It's so bad. I feel like I forgot how to socialize for, maybe I'm still there actually, but it's rough. It's so rough. You don't notice until you're so far gone where you're like, did I leave my house in the last week?
Yeah.
I don't know if I did.
I like
so
really notice it too when you like go and like actually like socially interact and you like either feel so exhausted so quickly or you feel like more energized than you have in like months and you're like, who am I? I don't even know anymore.
Yep. So relatable. Yep.
It's like
So
a
felt.
gotta like practice sometimes. But if I haven't spoken to someone in a minute, and it's funny too because like I notice I haven't socialized in a while when I go to order food or something or been out of my house because then I have to practice in my head, and if I don't have enough time, then I'll say something crazy when I'm trying to order, and it happens often. And I'll be like,
I
dang,
feel so seen.
yeah, I haven't spoken in a minute, at least to strangers.
Or you trick me over
Amina,
your words
what
and
do
you're
you
like,
say
I
that's
swear I know how to
crazy?
go outside.
Like, what was it? Like for example, if I go to Subway or something, I might say like, I don't know, like, can I get a what did I say one time that was wild? I think I said, can I get an American sandwich or something? And I was like,
What?
I was like, what the heck is an American sandwich? But I meant to say like American cheese, Italian bread, a turkey sandwich. But I just ended up saying, can I get an
Girl.
Yeah.
I feel like Subway sets you up to fail with that though, because they have so many options.
Yeah.
Not the last time I went, but the time before, they asked what kind of cheese I wanted, and I said orange. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
It's the
Wow.
color. You're not like wrong, you know?
They also changed them recently. They used to have a Swiss, and that was my go-to. So I picked. I just said orange.
I'm dead.
Okay.
Low-key though, I do feel like sometimes even virtual interaction can help with the stir crazy vibes, because for me where it gets really bad is if I haven't spoken even on like a phone to somebody. So like
Yeah.
I started doing little like FaceTime co-working with friends and stuff, or even like streams and things. Like just the interaction with other living beings even through a screen sometimes can be like, oh, okay, I have people to speak to. That's good.
It's funny because I feel like when I haven't streamed in a minute, you could tell, or at least I can tell. I'm like, oh shoot, I completely forgot how to function.
Streaming is its own little like social skill, low key.
Because you're not just talking to the people on the screen, like you're being watched by like 100 people or something.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like,
Me immediately fixes my posture.
I know.
Wait.
Me immediately getting self-conscious. Yeah.
it's like you're being watched. Like I can't see you, but you're there. Like I feel y'all. You know.
Mhm.
But y'all are cool, so it's all fine. But if it's been a minute,
True.
I'm like, oh my god, like, what's my channel about? What do I talk about? Brielle, I think your mic's not working again.
I swear to
That
God.
is
Oh, it works.
that
It
is so
keeps switching
relatable,
back.
Amina.
It keeps switching
What?
back and forth between my mic and my AirPods. That's the issue.
Oh.
Sorry, guys. On that note, shall we sprint?
I
Sounds
shall.
good.
thought we were we're on a writing stream.
She's like, wait, what were we doing again?
Yes, I forgot.
You
Probably because
know,
I
it
ate the
happens.
first time.
Yeah, that'll do it. I'm hoping to
my
actually get
God.
a word count this time. Whoa!
I know, I'm so cool.
I think we should do a long sprint this time. Would that be crazy?
What's
You
long?
I'm
guys
so
think?
I'm
down.
down.
What's long?
I don't know, like
Like
40
45?
minutes. Would that be crazy? 45? That'd be crazy. 45.
Right, I'm getting
That's
too
crazy.
That's what you gotta. That's why you gotta define long because y'all are like, yeah, let's do a long one. I'm like, what's long? Like,
What's the vibe? 45? That'd be crazy.
Listen, I'm along for the ride.
I'm down.
Listen, Hannah.
I do have fear in my
Maybe
voice.
one
Like,
day.
what's long, Alyssa? Like, what am I signing up for?
Oh, this is perfect. See, I'm actually obsessed. Okay,
3 hours. A marathon.
but they said let's convince them. Okay, consider myself convinced. I will change the timer to 45 if that's okay with everyone that's hosting.
Yep.
Yes, cool.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. All right, see you guys in 45 minutes. You better have crazy word counts to report with all this time that I'm giving you.
Oh God.
Wow.
Hello.
Hello. How's everyone's sprint? Do you have crazy word counts? 2,000 apiece? JK.
That would
But
be
was
nice.
it good?
Sad to say, I think I actually wrote less this time. I think I wrote 300 words this time.
Wait, that's so funny because literally I was like, during the sprint, I was like, wow, it's flowing. But I also got 370 words, so.
I think I got like 400-ish, which isn't too bad because I took a little break to take a shower, but not too bad.
Gotta do what you gotta do. I feel like I was on a heater, but I will preface by saying I did like stream of consciousness, brain dump style, like world building pieces, because I am building like 3 different societies, which is so fun. I don't know why I did this to myself, but I got 1,251 words that sprint, which is uncommon for me.
That's
I'm
great.
usually
That's amazing.
That is not
that
usually
for
what
you.
I write, but I will take what I can get.
It's amazing. Love it.
Using the-
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. Amazing.
I just need to do this more often, I guess. Writing slump over.
I love that for you. It sounds like we have a lot of people in the 300 club. Listen, 300 words
It's a
is
good club.
not nothing. It's not nothing.
No?
We're doing the thing. Love it. Sounds like it was productive all around. That's a huge win. Nice. 800 words. Love it, love it, love it. We did get one question. So normally we don't do questions at the end, but I feel like today.
Yeah,
Maybe we
actually,
can.
Why not?
When drafting, do you think linearly or visualize random snapshots around the scene, then jot those down and fill in the gaps? Are we linear drafters is, I think, generally the question.
I think like when I'm coming up with a story idea, like that's when I'll get like random snapshots where I'll be like, oh, that's really interesting. Like, oh, what's that idea? And that could be like jumbled across an entire story. But like when I'm drafting, I'm like a strict linear drafter. Like my brain does not work hopping around at all. But like brainstorming stage, yeah, I'll hop around a bit.
I think I feel similarly. And sometimes like in terms of like how ideas come to me, it is more so like sporadic, like little things like Ari said. Like even now, you know, I might be struck with an idea how to fix some chapter that I'm not working on, like that will happen. But in terms of like drafting, yeah, I also try to be linear, but I do brackets occasionally. So I guess that's kind of unlinear.
Yeah, I'm the same. Sorry to copy, but because I was trying to think like if it's just strictly on how we're thinking, yeah, I can't necessarily think linearly because I feel like I knew how I wanted probably like the climax to be before I even the current chapter I'm in, right? Like sometimes I just have random ideas. But in terms of just drafting, I like to just draft linearly because it's almost like a reward to like get to the fun stuff later on, you know? So yeah.
I love that. I relate at all. I feel like I am the odd one out here because my process is just chaos. Very, very messy. So I'm usually jumping around a bunch in my writing. Similarly, during brainstorming, I feel like I know little bits of scenes and I kind of like, to Minolark's point, like I kind of flesh them out to see where they touch other scene ideas that I have. But in terms of actually writing, I think it's a little weird because I'm doing 3 POVs and they all kind of like split off in time and kind of converge at a point. So I'm like building out the preamble for like each of them. So I'm still kind of doing it linearly because I'm building out like the beginnings for each character kind of all at the same time, but I jump around between like whose head I'm in on any given day, depending on, sounds like so crazy, but like who is speaking to me the most of that day. So I would say, yeah, definitely non-linear, but I do think that's why I'm having some of the problems I'm having now with feeling a big chaos pile because there isn't that same sort of through line that working in a linear fashion gives you.
Yeah.
True. I low-key feel like the sense of like an arc and like progression, like one thing leading to another, is harder, at least for where I'm at now, to create without that linear momentum. Because I feel like, I don't know, maybe in the future when I'm more experienced, I'll be able to do that. But I also think like, because drafting is so, to me, drafting, it's so important to be in the moment of the scene. Because you're trying to get into like flow and just like vibe with the characters. I feel like it's where linearness is most important to me. But I do feel like in later edits, especially, maybe I'll be more capable of jumping around because this structure is really solidified, you know? I don't know.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can recommend my approach also. Like, I think the way that I do it, to be honest, I don't know that I love that. So if you can work in linear fashion, amazing. Because I clearly struggle with it.
Yeah, I feel like it's personal, like, and there's also no right or wrong with it either. Like, if your brain can process things non-linearly, like, that's awesome. Love it.
Yeah. I feel like exactly what Brielle said too. It's like that's why I can't plot too, is like I need to like be in the scene like with the characters, because like if I take myself out of it, like everything kind of starts to fall apart. But like, yeah, like every process is different. Everybody's, you know, like I get the chaos, embrace the chaos. There's nothing wrong with it.
Totally. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, would you guys like to tell people where they can find you? And we'll sign off.
Who wants to start?
Anything you want to plug?
I can start if you like. I'm here on YouTube. Emily, I think it's Emily Thompson. Or Emily H. Thompson. I don't even know my own handle. I should work on that. But I'm here. And you can find me on Instagram at Emily Thompson Writes. I'm just sort of starting to get that account off the ground, so it's still in its infancy. But yeah, feel free to follow me on either of those, or neither if you don't want to. No pressure. But that's where you can find me.
Okay, I guess I'll go next. Hi, my name is Amina. It's Amina on YouTube, and then on Instagram it's aminas.library. And yeah, I love YouTube, so you can find me there. You can also find me tomorrow on Write with Joy's channel, because I will be live streaming with her. I think, Emily, are you too?
Yes, I will too. So
yeah. Yeah, we'll be doing that. And also, I'm just going to say, and Brielle's channel, because sometimes I just find myself here. So, yeah.
Sometimes she's just here. Sometimes Amina is just here.
Yeah.
I love it. I am Ari at AriBPK on YouTube and Instagram, but I'm not gonna lie, I will probably not post for like another 2 weeks because I'm literally getting surgery tomorrow. So, but I'm on YouTube. I very rarely am on Instagram, and yeah, I pop on live streams in our little friends channels all the time. And yeah, thanks so much for having us, Brielle. It's always a blast.
Yeah, it's so fun.
This was so fun. Thank you.
So sweet. Thank you guys for joining. Always love having you on. And yeah, I think all of their channels are linked. If I did a good job, they should be linked in the description in case you have a hard time finding them. Definitely go subscribe to all of them. I'm going to be more forceful about it than they could have been, but you should totally subscribe to all of them. And on Instagram and Patreon now. So links for all that stuff is on my channel. Amazing.
The Patreon is so good. The Patreon is so good. Go to the Patreon.
Thank you, Ari. Thank you. So appreciated. Thanks, guys, for joining. Hope it was productive. And I will also be streaming tomorrow night on Natalie's channel. So see you there potentially. Okay, bye.
Bye, everybody.